Now we want to return to Cadmill. Remember, this is our fictional town. Carrie Wilson is our reporter there. She shows us a company that had not prepared for a pandemic emergency, and it was absolutely devastated by the result.
As we told you earlier, many businesses in this area were absolutely rocked by the effects of this pandemic. One of those companies is ASM. ASM provides telemarketing services to a variety of clients.
ASM is one of the companies that I followed for a while. Not sure how they keep their doors open, to be honest. We talked to some of the employees, and they felt that they were just living in a germ factory. You take one calling agent talking into a phone for an entire shift, and another operator comes in on the next shift, sits down, and talks on the same phone. It's the perfect environment for spreading the flu. And we're pretty sure that some employees were sick but continued to come to work. Not one of the better stories from the pandemic.
We were not prepared for the cyclical nature of this outbreak at all. We had a whole bunch of people out, and then when we thought we were getting back up on our feet and getting caught up again, bang, we'd be hit again with another wave of people out sick, and we just kept getting further and further behind.
Walt Kaminsky runs ASM and is responsible for keeping callers on the phones. That job became harder and harder with each passing week of the pandemic.
ASM is a call center. We hire out to people who want to make large numbers of phone calls to people anywhere in the country. We do some market research opinion surveys. We work for nonprofits who are doing some fundraising. We also hire out to manufacturers of medical equipment and medical devices to do surveys of doctors to see how these implants or machines are performing in the field. At our peak, we had about 170 employees. It's down from that significantly now. The pandemic affected us disastrously. At one point, we had, I think, 40% of our employees out sick. In our business, when we have employees out sick, we can't fulfill our contracts. We contract to make X thousand calls per week. And if we don't have the people to make them, we can't fill those contracts. And that's exactly what happened. We defaulted on a number of our existing contracts, and our customers went elsewhere. We tried hiring in new people to fill the shoes of the people who were out sick. It didn't work very well because the problem was that the trainers themselves were out sick. I was out sick for a while. Without the trainers, without the supervisors, this place pretty much grinds to a halt, so new hires were not able to get us out of the hole. It seemed like every 6 or 8 weeks we had a whole wave of people being out sick. As a result, we never got caught up. Just when we thought we were going to get on top of this situation, once again, we'd fall way behind. We hadn't anticipated that, and that went on for about a year, 14 months maybe. First of all, we didn't have any kind of policy that told our workers what to do, whether they should stay home if they were feeling at all sick or whether they should come in and try to work. They didn't know what to do, and we didn't quite know what to tell them. Then, too, we'd never had any kind of replacement or cross-functional team training so that if, say, a supervisor was out sick, a trainer could come in and take over for her. And finally, we never had any kind of technology, any kind of software systems or other technological fixes that could have at least lessened the effect of having so many people out at once. No, we were not prepared. The company has not recovered. We are about half the company we used to be. Sales at this point are down about 50% now. I know the economy is bad now, but that's only part of it. The other big part is that a lot of our customers do not understand what happened to us. I mean, they weren't affected by this pandemic like we were. So to them, it's like, hey, you lost a couple people because they had the sniffles. What's the big deal? They don't understand that when we have 25, 40% of our people out, we can barely function. So a lot of those people went elsewhere. They took their business to somebody else. I don't blame them. But it's tough trying to find new customers in this environment.
It's really a very vivid demonstration of the effect a pandemic flu can have on your business, as it did with ASM, could completely cripple them, maybe even put them out of business. I want to talk to some new guests here in our program now. Joining us, Steve Wagner, Chief of the Office of Health Preparedness for the Ohio Department of Health, and Mel House and Patrick Sheehan, both with the Ohio Emergency Management Agency. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Bill.
Okay. Thank you so much. One of the things that we've talked about is importance in communication for people to understand who can help them and who does what. Steve, the first question is to you, and that is about what the role of the Ohio Department of Health. Could you tell us about what role you would play or your organization would play?
Yeah, so we work primarily in a partnership with local public health and federal public health. But the three things that we really cover are, first of all, helping to provide that guidance in terms of what people can take as far as personal actions to protect themselves. Second would be about being able to control the spread of illness through whether that's deciding that public gatherings may need to be suspended or a closure of schools and providing that kind of guidance. And then third, we play a role with local public health in terms of helping to deliver antiviral medication or vaccine when it's available.
Okay, great. Mel, how about your organization and the role that you would play from the state standpoint?
With respect to the state response, the response is certainly driven by the type and scope of the incident, and what we do or do not do is driven by the State Emergency Operations Plan. The plan identifies the roles and responsibilities of our state agencies and state partners, of which there are approximately 60 agencies, including Department of Transportation, Department of Health, National Guard, American Red Cross, and some associations that assist us with not only developing the plan and taking a piece of that responsibility, but then on the response phase. The plan is all hazards in nature, but it does have incident-specific pieces such as for pandemic flu, including the transportation of antivirals and things like that. The plan identifies responsibilities of the agencies. They accept those responsibilities, but then the agencies can, of themselves, determine how best to carry out those missions. The role of Ohio EMA is one of coordination and facilitation. We help develop the plan in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, and we respond. We open the State Emergency Operations Center, activate the EOC, invite our partners to the table, and as many as, generally it's a smaller number, but as many as 60 partners could assist us in planning, moving information, sharing information, and coordinating the response. If a local has an incident that exceeds their ability to respond, such as a pandemic or a hazardous material incident, then they reach out to the state. And we reach out to our state partners to try and fill those resource needs. And then if we don't have the resources, we can reach out to various states and to the feds. But that's our role, coordination and facilitation. We share the workload with our partners in state resources.